In 1942, while teaching at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, Albert Einstein handed over the final exam to his teaching assistant. And upon reviewing them, she said, "Wait a minute, isn't this the exact same exam you gave this very same class last year?" He said, "Yes, exactly the same." She thought, "Well, how can you give the exact same exam to the same students 2 years in a row? What's the point of that?" His response, of course, was, "Well, the answers have changed." Now, during Einstein's day, there was a lot of advancements in the field of math. In our day, there's a lot of advancements in the field of using technology and the internet and social media for growing your business. And what I want to say today is that some of the questions may remain the same. How do we find leads? How do we develop prospects? How do we create loyalty with our existing clients? The answers to those questions have changed, and that's what this masterclass is about. So thanks for joining me. My name is Brett Allen. I lead an initiative called Boss Social, and today we're going to talk about how you can learn to correctly implement social media, not just for marketing, but for selling. Let's get started. There are two things that have completely shifted how people shop for insurance, and the top producers are now doing one specific thing to take advantage of this massive shift. Now, if you remember, at the beginning of this video, I talked about Albert Einstein, right? The question is the same, but the answers have shifted. And the first question I want to ask you is, where do consumers go to get answers? If I have a problem in the world, whether it's insurance or a car or a relationship, like whatever it is, where do I go to get answers, okay? In the past, before we had computers, we could talk to each other. We could look at the news, or we could look at the TV or the radio. We could talk to our friends on the phone once that came along, right? In Einstein's day, this was kind of what he had available to him. He could write something in the mail and get a letter back. Computers created a huge shift in where we got answers to our questions. You remember the home computer? You got it. Eventually they got better and faster, and the internet came along. And before long, we were using email and we had websites. This shifted where we could go. Right now, if I have a question, I can go to the web. So many of us have had to move our process of selling from the real world of brick and mortar to the online world, the digital world. So many of us have spent years trying to create websites and fight the Google search engines and how to get, chat bots and all these different things out there to be able to help people get the answers that they're looking for. This was a huge shift, and it changed the way that we communicated with our prospects and our clients, and we sold to them and we supported them. In the last decade, there's been another shift, and that shift is the emergence of the smartphone. With the smartphone, we came to the mobile web, and with the mobile web came social media, and came YouTube, and it came instant sharing and chatting, right? If I have a question, I can go to YouTube, I can crowdsource all kinds of information. This has had a dramatic effect on how we get answers to our questions. I want you to look at a couple pieces of data with me. The rise of the mobile internet. Okay, if you look at this, the blue line, the one that goes down, is our use of accessing the internet with a desktop computer. The green one, the one that's going up, is the one of how we're accessing the internet via our mobile device. And the purple one at the bottom is using like an iPad or a tablet. Obviously, what you can see here is desktop use is going down and mobile is going up. We are accessing the internet so much more now than we ever were from the desktop. We still do, but it's that mobile device that gives us access to all this stuff, and all the apps that are using the internet. Well, guess what? At the same time that our use of mobile was going up, we saw the rise of social media. Now this data here shows from 2005 to 2019, the rise of our use. This is the people who use social media per age group, right? So 90% of people under the age of 30 who use social media, and I think this was in the end of 2019. 82% of people under 50, 69% of people under 65, and 40% of people under 60 or over 65 are all using social media. And it coincides exactly with the advent or the rise of our mobile devices. Okay, so what you see here, this is the first iPhone. The first iPhone came out in 2007 in the summer. So there's something going on between these two. Okay, I said there were two things, mobile device and social media. Let's dig into this a little bit deeper. The average person touches their phone 2,600 times a day. Okay, unless you're a heavy phone user, which many of us are, data shows it's 5,400 times a day. And if we don't have our phones, we kind of freak out. Have you ever heard of nomophobia? It's a phone separation disorder causing increased heart rate and blood pressure, shortness of breath, anxiety, nausea, dizziness, depression, fear, and panic. And you might say to yourself, yeah, these young kids, they seriously got some problems. They are addicted to their phones. Well, I have some sad news for the rest of us. It's not just the kids. We all are so dependent on our phones. My friend once asked me, what do you value more, your phone or your significant other? I'm like, well, my significant other, of course. And he says, well, let me ask you this. When you get up in the morning, do you reach over and give her a kiss? Or do you grab your phone? Like, which one do you go for first? Now, obviously, that's just an anecdotal joke. But the truth is, without our phones, we feel lost. And we use them for everything. We use them to get answers to our questions, which was my primary thought here. But we use it for all kinds of things. 92% of Americans who are online shop on Amazon.com. The way we get answers to our questions and the way we shop has changed. We're going to the web. This isn't new information, but has it sunk in when it comes to your life as a salesperson? Are you leveraging these things so that way you can meet your prospects where they are? LinkedIn has gone on to say 75% of business-to-business buyers are using social media to make buying decisions. So it's not just for the B2C market, right? It's not just if you're selling personal lines. In the commercial space, I spent years working in the commercial insurance space, helping insurance producers figure out how to use LinkedIn specifically to be able to connect with their clients, to be able to grow their book of business. I like what Hootsuite has to say about this. We're moving away from trusting institutions, vanity metrics, and mega influencer celebrities, and we're moving towards smaller spheres of influence. Okay, trust in the media is at an all-time low. Trust in brands is at an all-time low. Who do we trust? Where do we go? One of the things we like about social media is it connects us with our family and friends and people who are like-minded. And we can ask them questions. Just like we can go to Amazon.com to look at the reviews of a product we're thinking about buying to see what people that we inherently trust, because why are they going to lie? That's our assumption. We also can just ask our friends in a more convenient way than we ever have before. Here's an example. This is my friend Stephanie. Stephanie, mild-mannered mom from the Midwest, good friend of mine since college. A few years ago, she posted on Facebook, I want to get rid of my satellite TV payment. I'm looking at getting the Roku or the new Amazon Fire. I would love some feedback. I don't know anyone who has these. Again, this was literally like 5 years ago that she made this post. None of this stuff is new, guys. Guess what happened? Her friends chimed in. What you can see right here is a list over here of all of the comments that they made. A whole bunch of them. And if you look close, you'll notice she made this post at 10:11 p.m. By the next morning at 8:38 a.m. she posted in the comments, thank you everyone, the Roku it is. So look at the buying process here. She was able to take her question, ask the people she knew using social media, and get a response between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. the next morning. That's fascinating and it's powerful. And guess what? It's not just for buying technology. It's also for insurance. Here's another example, just to pull one up, of a friend of mine named Sean. These are real friends. This is a guy we used to sell. We were full-time, full commission salespeople at Sears when we were in college. I've known him for many years. He goes on to say, or he says here, I'm looking for an insurance company who will sell a homeowner's policy to someone whose home is currently on fire. Any leads? Asking for a friend. So he's got a problem. He's going to crowdsource. He's going to ask his friends. He's not going to Google. He's not going to get on web business pages. He's asking his friends. And guess what? 57 comments. There were 57 comments on this post. Now, Sean's a very likable guy. A lot of people engage with him. But actually, this post got a lot more visibility and a lot more comments than most of his posts. And you know why? As I read through it, I noticed there was about 7 other people that were asking their insurance-related questions. We're using social media as a gathering place to connect with people to get answers to our questions. And my question as a sales producer, are you there? If you were Sean's friend and you just had 6 opportunities not only to help him but other people, did you leverage those? Are you engaged in those kind of conversations? Are you aware that they're going on? The smartphone, and the second one is social media, collectively have completely shifted how people shop for everything, and that includes insurance. So what are the top producers doing? Okay, they are using the web and social media to find and engage their ideal clients. Now think about this. In the past, we built a web page and we advertised at large. With social media, we can actually go out and we can find the specific people who are most qualified to receive or are in the greatest need of the specific things that we have. If I've got like 3 carriers that I love, and one of them has this really unique program, they got this awesome cyber liability program, and if I know who needs that in the marketplace, I can use social media to find them, to build a relationship with them and serve them exactly what they need. I don't have to send a postcard out to the entire county or zip code. I can actually isolate the specific people who have the need of the things that I can help them with. You can be so much more efficient and effective, and you can build the kind of business you really want to build. If you understand your ideal client and you understand their needs and you have some resources to help them, then you can use social media to quickly grow your book, not of just random people or whoever happens to walk in the door, but the exact kind of client that you prefer to work with. And that's what the strategies that we share really help you achieve. So what do we do now? Hopefully this video has kind of helped lay out what's going on, what the issues are. So what I want to ask you is to ask yourself a couple questions. Number 1, does your marketing and your sales strategy, not just as an agency, but as an independent producer at the producer level, does it reach people while they're using their phones? Number 2, what does a prospect think about you when they check you out online? Let's say you provide a service that I need. I'm talking to my buddy, you insure him, he refers you to me. I Google you. But I also had another friend that referred me to someone else. And I checked out a couple people. Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, asking around. I'm going to have a shortcut experience. Just like my friend and buying the Roku, I'm going to talk to some people before I ever talk to you. I'm not going to give you a chance to sell yourself. Unless the web can sell you for me via your web and social media, you have a very small chance of winning. In fact, the agencies are doing this. I remember a couple years ago, I was working with an agency. It was this young agent that received all this attention for all the good they were doing in the community. And they got this award. And there was another agency there that had been there forever, and they were mad. And they were like, how is this young whippersnapper getting all this attention? It's totally unfounded. We've been doing 10 times more for 10 times longer. And the only difference was they knew how to effectively communicate what they were doing using the web and social media to get the visibility. To be successful as a sales producer, we can't escape the reality that we have to have a way to communicate to our prospects the value that we provide. So what will they see when they check you out? Who is engaging your prospects and clients online instead of you? If you're not doing this, who is? And finally, number 4, what are they doing that you aren't? We've really got to ask ourselves these questions and say, you know what? I need to maybe dig into this space that I've been ignoring. I've been wishing would go away. Right? You can't do that anymore. The more you wait, the more you're going to lose. So what have we learned today in this video? Reality check number 1. We use the mobile web and social media to shop and get answers to our questions. Producers must correctly implement a social media selling strategy to remain competitive in the marketplace. I would love to show you how to do that. So that brings us to the next 2 things we want to talk about, video 2 and video 3. Let me give you a little bit of a preview of those, and then you can see how to access those. Reality check number 2. Using social media, tech-savvy agents are ethically stealing your clients and prospects from right under your nose. Okay, this video will outline how that all works and what you can do about it. The third piece of this masterclass, or the third training video, I want to explain to you what the 80-20 rule of social selling is. You're going to see how experienced sales producers can outperform millennial producers using social media. And I put this in there because a lot of you guys are not millennials. You're not these young tech-savvy people, and you're leery of using social media. The truth is you bring to the table something that they can't even touch it. And when you learn how to leverage that, you can just wipe the table with them. So I'm going to explain that. And if you're a millennial and you're like, hey, I'm a new agent, don't be bad-mouthing me, Brett. The truth is you're going to also see the strategy and what you're lacking so you know how to compensate for that. And then finally, I'm going to show you how you can access step-by-step instruction to correctly implement a social selling system that is tailor-made to your existing selling style. You are busy. Your job is not to become a social media expert. Your job is to be the most efficient and effective salesperson to match the needs of your clients with the resources that you have as an independent agent. The whole initiative that I've created is called Boss Social. What it means is you are the boss of your social media. It doesn't mean that you're a social media boss. I don't want to train you into the most capable social media person so you can get a job as a marketing person. What I want you to do is understand what are the specific tactics and strategies that you can employ as a salesperson to manage your social media so it works like an employee for you 24/7. So we've arrived at the end of this video. What's it going to take for you to watch these other two training and get on this path? Guess what? Big money, $7. That's all I'm going to ask of you. Now you're saying, oh man, Brett, you should give me this for free. Okay, there's two problems with that. Number one is when you get stuff for free, you don't value it. Okay, and what we found is psychologically, even paying $7 will give you enough of a mental commitment that you will do what you need to do to listen to this stuff to get the information and hopefully allow it to start changing the process by which you're selling. And my accountant, I've done the math, and he says $7 will help, keep food on my table. So I'm not trying to get rich on this. What I want to do is help you. I want to share the things that I've shared with these other agencies and all the stuff that I haven't been able to share, except for in my coaching scenarios, with you to move forward. But my hope for you today is to get this training and get on your way to growing your business and just finally being rid of this anxiety that we have when it comes to how do I use social media, how to do the web. Okay, let's get you in a position where you can command the conversation, understand how it works, implement it at the level you want to support your sales strategy. That's what this is about. Go ahead down below, get this training, and I'll see you in the next video.